is your horse riding instructor a good one? And that is sometimes very difficult to answer, especially if you like that person as a person. It can be really hard to tell if they know what they're talking about or if they're just, well, blah-blahing. That is what we are going to be covering in today's video, so please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss other videos like this. Also, comment below your experiences with your different riding instructors, what you liked about them, what you didn't like, and just let us know in the comments down below. My name is Krystal Kelly, and I'm actually a certified FEI Level 2 show jumping coach. I've actually traveled the world working in over 20 different countries with horses, mostly like Grand Prix top level horses here. And I've also worked with endurance horses and polo ponies, and I've ridden Western horses. So I have a big experience in a lot of different countries with horses and students. And I've seen working in the industry, because I've been to, 60 countries where I've seen like different horses and stables and their riding instructors and kind of the different styles. Like there's BHS certification, and then in the US I got certified through an equestrian college, but also I have my FEI coaching certification. And then also, in other countries they have different programs or whatever. So I've seen a lot of things in my travels, and I've gotten to experience and witness firsthand a lot of different types of training styles and methods, not just for show jumping, but for dressage and for endurance and polo and a whole variety of things. And it's really opened my eyes to the different types of riding instructors that are out there, but it's also made me very aware that unfortunately there's a lot of wrong information and bad riding instructors teaching very bad, awful things, okay? And I don't know why this is happening, but for some reason it is. And I think it's because, like in the USA, for example, there isn't actually a certification program, worldwide for instructors. Some countries are trying some different things, but overall, there's really not like the universal riding instructor certification. And just any person who's read a book about horses can actually go and open their own, riding stables and start giving lessons. And unfortunately, I've experienced that when I was a kid and I was taking lessons in California. I could actually only afford 2 riding lessons a month, okay, every other weekend. And I think I went through 3 or 4 riding instructors before I landed on one which I actually liked, and that actually was able to progress me in my riding, and that actually knew what they were talking about. And it's very frustrating because I was, 9 years old when I started taking lessons. And so when you're a kid, it can be really hard to spot whether or not the trainer is good or not, because you don't want to question an adult because they're the ones in charge, like they're the ones owning the horses, so they must know what they're talking about. And the reality is that's just not true. There's a whole lot of people that kind of know, maybe they know the information, maybe they read some books, or maybe they watched some horsey movies, or they've had horses their whole life, but it doesn't actually mean that they are qualified to teach riding. And that might be hard to hear for some of you. But you need to do your due diligence when you're looking for an instructor, and you need to make sure that they actually are teaching you correctly. Because the worst thing that you can do is take riding lessons from somebody who's developing you with bad habits, okay, or wrong information, because that's going to actually cause you injuries. It's going to cause your horse injuries maybe. It's going to scar you for life, like maybe something happens and then you stop riding and then you find riding again later on. Like, you just don't know. Okay, so it's just too risky and it's too dangerous of a sport for you to risk your life or your horse's safety because of somebody who thinks that they are qualified when actually they're really not. Now, that doesn't mean that somebody who's young and learning how to give lessons shouldn't be giving any lessons, okay? That's just not true, because obviously I was 18 once and I was giving lessons, and you know what? I did fine. I didn't do everything perfectly, okay? But I learned and I adapted and I changed and I grew from there. I also, when I was 18 through 20 or whatever, I wasn't teaching like super high level stuff. I started with what I knew. Okay, so make sure that your riding instructors, that they can actually walk the walk and not just talk the talk. Okay, that expression that goes around, those who can do, those who can't teach. Well, with horse riding, that expression just is not true, okay? They need to be able to do or have done at some point in their life, in their career, what they are teaching you, because it just doesn't work with horses. I, as a show jumper, if I've not jumped 1.45 meters, I cannot expect to be able to share to my students what it feels like when I'm jumping 1.45 meters, okay? I can't help them, coach them up to the fence at 1.45 meters if I've not done it myself. So in show jumping, I mean, it's definitely very important, but it's the same for all other sports and equestrian disciplines. You need to make sure that they can actually do what they are saying. A lot of times you need to read between the lines, okay? You need to actually observe them when they are riding or when they are training their horses and see how they're acting. How are their horses acting? Do their horses seem stressed? Do their horses seem happy? Are they healthy, okay? Are they able to actually do what they say they can do? Or, you know, do they have pictures or videos of them doing it in the past? You know, maybe they've retired now and so they're just kind of teaching, that's fine. But do they have kind of proof that they've actually done what they said they can do and that they are actually modern and they're not, you know, stuck in old school habits or ways, you know, they're not too harsh or aggressive, you know, whatever the case may be. So those are definitely some key signs to look for to see if your instructor actually knows what they're talking about. But also the biggest advice I can give you is listen to that little red flag, okay? Your inner gut and your instincts, okay? Now this is not something that I can explain, it's just something you have to feel. And if you have a little red flag waving in the back of your mind when you are with your riding instructor, then that might mean it's time to start looking for another instructor. Now, like I said, have traveled and worked around the globe. So I've actually worked in countries like India and Egypt and different places where good riding instructors were just basically non-existent. Okay, there were a few, but there was also a lot of very bad instructors teaching very bad things. So that's kind of why I was there, because I was trying to help implement and develop actual riding curriculums, which was modern and nice. But there was a lot of, you know, people that were kind of set in their ways and stuck in their ways, and I couldn't quite convince everyone. I convinced those that I could, you know. But I know what it feels like to be in an area where you probably don't have access to the best or high quality instructors. It doesn't mean that there's not good coaches in India, of course there are, but you might be limited or have a lack of resources. So that is why I have created a lot of online programs and online courses. So that way, no matter where you are in the world, you can actually learn how to ride and get riding lessons from me and from people that you know that are actually they actually know what they're talking about. So if that's something that you're interested in, I invite you to check out our website. I'm going to drop a link in the bio below, but just have a look at theinternationalequestrian.com. And again, you know, whether you choose to take my online courses or not, there's a whole variety of riding coaches out there who have online programs. Again, you need to do your due diligence, watch their videos, make sure that they actually know what they're talking about, okay? Of course, it's difficult to tell everything from the beginning. You know, when you're a beginner, you can't spot all of the things that maybe they're doing wrong. I understand. So to be safe, you know, don't feel like you have to be stuck to one coach. You know, you can definitely have multiple coaches. I've had multiple coaches. I mean, like I said, I've traveled to over 60 countries working with horses. So, you know, I've had so many coaches, I don't even think I can count all of them, to be honest. I remember the very good ones, obviously, but I've also had some not so good ones. So, you know what? It doesn't really, in the long run, it doesn't really matter so much what you did in the past, so long as you actually address it and work towards finding someone else who's a little bit more appropriate for the level that you are at now or the level that you are wanting to be. If you found this video helpful, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, and also like this video below and comment, you know, what are your experiences with your riding instructors and what is it that you are looking for? Like, what makes a good riding instructor to you? Thank you so much for watching and happy trails.